Hello everybody, welcome to anybody who is new to this channel. It is lovely to have you join us. To all of you who already regularly join, who came on over from Facebook, from that beautiful community that we built there, thank you for being here. It is as always a pleasure to have you, and I'm excited about expanding here and continuing to grow this community, this positive community. So what do I want to talk to you about today? Well, if you were to say to me, if you were to ask me, what is this one single most thing that I have learned in my life that has brought me the greatest relief, I would say to you, differentiating myself out from my ego. Learning to recognize the ego, really learning to understand what it actually is, but that took decades. But single biggest understanding, learning that I am not the ego, learning that there is a me that is separate from the constant chatter that goes on in my mind, that goes on in your mind, that goes on in every human mind on the planet. That critical aspect of us, that constant kind of narrative, the narrator of our life. Learning that that is not me, differentiating myself from that, even though of course it's in my voice, and then allowing space, allowing that energy shift in my mind to give me access to my wiser self, my higher self, and for guidance to come through. In my own life and in the lives of my clients, that is the thing that we focus on to bring relief. Why? Because what ego does is it convinces us that something has to happen, or that something outside of us has greater power than what we do. And so what we do is we spend our lives thinking that the situation isn't right for something, the environment isn't right. We spend our lives waiting for something to happen, for something to change. We spend our lives giving our power away to circumstances outside of us, to people outside of us, waiting for them to do the right thing, for them to stop doing something, for them to start doing something, for the circumstances to be right, so that we can finally be in our full power, feel the happiness that we desire to feel, fulfill the thing that we want to do, live the life that we want to live. We are currently seeing that play out on the whole planet. We are currently seeing that play out in the collective, right? And we're seeing it beautifully, how we've been programmed in the same way outside of us as inside of us. And it is the most beautiful example of as within, so without. So at the moment, the vast majority of people, certainly in Melbourne, I would hazard a guess, probably worldwide, are not feeling empowered. And if I were to ask you why, if I was to ask them why, they would say, because masks, lockdown, rules, police, government, and I have to wait. They would say, well, I need to wait until I am told that I can move about freely again, or until I am told that I have my freedom again. And this is the most wonderful catalyst that we could hope for to wake up. Because what it shows us is that just like in our lives, We live under the illusion that something outside of us has power. We do the same thing collectively, where we feel we cannot be free, we cannot be in our power until such and such happens. And people will tune in every Sunday or once a fortnight or at the designated date and time for the Premier of Victoria to tell them whether they are free or not. I know that it's really easy to look at that and say, well, of course that's real. Because if I don't follow these rules, if I don't do this thing, there are consequences and I will be punished. But I really want to use it to really teach you, because this is the most powerful thing I can share with you at this time. If you were to say to me, or if I was to sit and think, what is the gift that I have to share with everybody right now to help them be in their power and to help them attain freedom? I would say that we are seeing our collective experience play out, and it can seem like it's separate from us, but it's not. And that all the changes that are needed can happen right here. That we are such a pivotal part of this puzzle, of the solution, that we don't even need to leave the house to change the world. And that everything that I have ever taught you, if you are new, everything that you can learn about the ego and about because here's what the ego does. While we are living our lives, the ego will always take us to a future time or a past time to convince us that what we want is not in the now. What we desire, what we need, the perfect set of circumstances are not now. So the ego convinces us to always wait, either to yearn for a time that has passed, that we have missed, that is gone. It's gone, we had our chance, we missed it, we stuffed up, we made a mistake, and now we can no longer have that thing that we want to have. Or it's convincing us there is a future time. There is a future time, and when it shows up, then I can be in my power. And so we wait. We wait for people to give us our power. And this is what we are doing collectively at the moment. We are waiting for people to give us our power. Some of you would say, give us our power back. I would say to you, we never had it. We never had it. The beauty of this time, why this time is so exciting and so powerful for us to evolve, is that we are just seeing play out the reality that we have lived in for a really long time. And we think that if somebody was to say, okay, you can now go and have lunch at a cafe, and you can go back to work, and you can take a mask off your face, that we can now have freedom again. We never had it. We never had it. Because we have been living under the rule, under the tyranny of our ego. And so just like in our personal lives, in our own minds, we haven't had freedom because ego has said, I want a bigger house, I want a better car, why don't I have the relationship I want, why don't I have the children I want a better job, I want that handbag, I want those shoes, I want a thinner body, I want better health. It's constantly waiting for a different set of circumstances. We're always waiting for a different set of circumstances to feel in our power. And we're doing the same thing collectively. We're waiting for a set of circumstances. When the numbers reach this number, you will be allowed out. When this person says you are free, you will be allowed to be free. It is just our own individual experiences in a collective swirl playing out on the world stage. Can you feel that? Can you feel how we're seeing it play out there, what we do in here? And that is why the principles are the same. That is why the foundation is the same. That is why there's no new things to learn. there's no different rule book to navigating this time as there is to navigating and getting peace from your mind. Now, some spiritual teachers, some religions, groups will say that we must rise above the ego. The ego needs to have a complete death in order for us to experience freedom. Personally, I believe the ego can become a tool. The ego can actually become part of our guidance system. I prefer to embrace it, to understand that it is part of our human experience, to stop demonizing it, to stop thinking of it as a dirty word, to understand that it's coming along for the ride. It ain't going anywhere. But I can be the adult in the room. I can be the one in charge. I can be the adult in the room. And I don't wait for it to tell me when the circumstances are right. I make that decision myself. I remind myself that I am always in my power, and then I choose my power. And this is what we collectively are waking up to. This is the opportunity for us now to wake up and to understand that we do not need to sit in our houses, and I'm saying that metaphorically. I'm not telling you to do anything that you don't want to do. I'm saying that metaphorically, we do not need to sit in our houses and wait for somebody to knock on the door and say, hand you over a certificate of power. You are now in your power again. You are now free to move about as an adult in this world. It ain't going to happen. It has never happened in history. It hasn't happened in thousands of years. We are on the cusp now of claiming that, and it won't happen when the circumstances are perfect. It will happen now. It will happen when we understand that we will claim our power in any circumstance. We will remember and rise into our power regardless of the environment, regardless of what each government happens to be doing at the time, regardless of if it's before the election, during the election, or after the US election. It doesn't matter, because that is just on a global scale what happens in each one of our minds every day, where ego tries to convince us that until you weigh these kilos, you are not the way you want to be. You are not lovable. You are not worthy. Until you have this amount in your bank account, you are not safe. You do not have a foundation. I want you to know it's exactly the same. So what I want to do is I want to run a week of morning meetings on here on YouTube, just like we did on Facebook. It was really helpful for many of you. You came, you joined. It was a great way to start your day. So what I want to do is, starting from Monday, the 19th of October, I'm going to upload a video each morning of that week that is a morning meeting, in the sense that it will set the tone for your day. And I'm going to read through cards. I'm going to test up an oil for us. I'm going to test through what needs to come through that day. What is the message for us that day? And the whole topic, the whole focus of that week is to remind us that we are always in our power. Because each morning, when we wake up each morning, we're fully in our power. Until this starts, until the beliefs and the thoughts, and until we open our eyes and then, look at the weather, or think about where we have to go that day, or what we have to do, or think about what bills need paying, we're in our power. And then it slowly starts to decrease as we give that power away to certain things and to certain people and to certain thoughts. So I'm going to upload these videos the night before. So the Monday one I will upload on Sunday night. The Tuesday morning one I will upload on Monday night, and so on. But only so that you can literally listen to them whenever you wake up, whenever you start your day. Okay, so for some of you, that'll be earlier than for others. And so I just wanted it to be there for you, ready to go at the time. I hope you join me. Please send this off to your friends. Please share it. Please invite someone that you think will benefit. Let's spend the week together each morning, reminding ourselves of our power, reminding ourselves of how to be the adult in the room, reminding ourselves of how to differentiate ourselves out from our ego, set the tone for the day in our power. So each day we'll have like a slightly different focus. We'll set that intention. I'll see what comes through. We'll see what the cards show us, what guidance we get from the oils, and let's really set the tone. Because when we rise in our power, regardless of the outside circumstances and situations, we are a force to be reckoned with. We will rise fully into ourselves, and that is what the world needs from you right now. The world needs you fully in your power, fully and authentically who you are. It needs it more than it needs you to do any particular thing. Monday the 19th, join me in the morning. Let's set the tone. Let's rise in our power. Let's move through our day. Let's navigate these times with a focus of knowing that the power is in here and that we set the tone. All right, much love to you. I look forward to having you join, and let's really rise in our power.